Hi, I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today I'm talking about how my reading has changed since I bought the Amazon Kindle a year ago. And I wanted to talk a bit about that as a reader and also as a writer and how it has changed the real book industry. Now, we all hear about how ebooks are really changing the publishing industry, but what does that mean on a very small scale, in terms of an individual reader who loves books? So first of all, I can tell you that since getting the Kindle last year, I've basically been reading 3 times as many fiction books as I was before. Now, I'm in Australia where new fiction books are really expensive. They're around $30 to $40 Australian, which at the moment is 1-to-1 with the US dollar, so that's expensive. But basically the Kindle books are around $10, $11, so I can get a brand new fiction novel for $11 instead of $30. So that has translated in 3 times as many books, and I'm actually reading those books as well. I'm not just buying them, I'm actually devouring them. As an avid reader of fiction, I love to devour these books, and I'd really stopped reading fiction almost because of the prohibitive price of the print book. So that's made a massive difference in my reading life. Secondly, I really buy through sampling. Now, sampling is when you can pretty much go to the Amazon store, the Kindle store, or on the Kindle itself and download a sample of a book that you're interested in. So for example, I might be on Twitter, I might be reading a blog, and they'll say, someone will mention this great book. I'll go to that the link, I'll go to Amazon and I'll download a sample there and then of that book if it's available for Kindle. And that's a good point, if it's available for Kindle. That will give me a sample on my Kindle of, maybe 20 pages, not that much of the book, but enough that I know whether or not I want to buy it. And I probably have 20 to 30 samples on my Kindle at one time, where I basically go through and have a browse, and then out of those I might buy 1 or 2. Now that means I'm trying a lot of new authors as well, and people I just hear about who I may never have found in a print bookshop, including self-published authors, small presses, books that are not for sale in an Australian bookstore, which of course is very small compared to the market of books out there. But if I hear about it and it's available as a sample, that goes onto my Kindle, and chances are if I like it, I'm going to buy it. So that's really quite life-changing in terms of how I buy books, but also as an author, how I want to get my books out there. You can also see how that translates into the fact that I probably won't buy a book if it's not available on the Kindle. Given that pretty much 90–95% of what I read now is on an e-reader, either the Kindle or the iPad, I'm not even going to buy a book if it's just in print, unless I really, really want it. So I do still buy books in print, but generally I would prefer to buy them on the Kindle. And I do still get books shipped from Amazon.com in America, but I have to really want them. So I would prefer to read a book on a Kindle first. So yeah, that's really changed as well. I will step away from a book by an author I've never heard of, or one that's just on the borderline, unless it's available on the Kindle. Something to remember if you're an author. Now, the other thing I do is read the same book across multiple devices. So I do have a Kindle, a Kindle device itself. So I may start reading the book on the Kindle. I like the Kindle itself because there's no distractions. If you're reading a book, you're reading a book. There's no video, there's no email. You can just read a book. So I really like it for that. And generally in bed, I'll always read from the Kindle device itself. But then I have an iPhone, and I take my iPhone to work, and I'll be reading the same book on the iPhone on the train, or on the commute, which isn't very long. It's like 15 minutes, but if I'm standing up, I can read some of that same book on the iPhone. I'll also read on the iPad and on the PC as well. So I will read the same book across multiple devices on the Kindle app. Now that's really amazing. I find that brilliant. I don't want to carry all of these different devices, and I can have my Kindle app, and in the lunch hour or whatever, I can be reading the same book. And I find the iPhone very good to read on, as a portable device. It's brilliant. So yeah, that's pretty much how my reading has changed in using the Kindle. So what does this mean to you as an author or as a reader yourself? Well, I hope it's pretty obvious, you really should get your books out there on the Kindle in a Kindle format. Now you can do it yourself at dtp.amazon.com, or you can use a professional to do it, to format it for you, and I have some links to those on the website of people you can use. It doesn't cost that much money now, and basically if you get it formatted, you can get it up on the Kindle and for sale within 24 hours. That's life-changing. If you have a backlist of work out there, you can get it up there and it can be selling for you. People like me all around the world can find it, and with the growth of ebooks, the growth of that market, your books, your backlist will be found, so that's fantastic. And as a reader, I would really urge you, if you haven't tried ebooks yet, I mean, you don't have to buy a Kindle, you can look at somebody else's or look at an iPad, look at one of the many devices that's coming out now and just try it out, or ask a few people, why do you like this device? What's so great about it? And if you're a massive reader, you devour books like I do, then having an e-reading device is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you can go on holiday with 1,500 books, which will keep anybody busy. So yeah, I highly recommend the Kindle. After using it for a year, I'm really happy with it. I'm sticking with it. I even use the Kindle app on the iPad, and yeah, so that's pretty much how my reading has changed, and also what I think as an author. So thank you. I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com.